What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. BobbyFi here from just doing my top plays of the day of the NBA. Sheets is out today, so we're not going to go game by game. I'm going to sort of combine this in my 5 and 5 video because it's basically going to be the same thing, but I'm going to be talking about a lot more than 5 players because especially on DraftKings, there is a slew of guys who are still underpriced, and basically all the stars are, so you can kind of pick and choose. Unfortunately, they're all fairly similarly rated, and we're going to have to find our way through it, especially on DK. On FanDuel, they made the pricing a little bit tighter. I like it a little bit better over there today, and we'll talk about some of our favorite plays over there. So let me jump right into it. I'm going to start off by saying the guys who I'm playing the most of on DK. And because of the multi-positions, I don't think position matters the way that it used to. We'll probably get that narrowed down as the season goes on, especially on DK. But as of right now, it's pretty flexible. So I'm just going to name my favorite plays. Tobias Harris, whether or not Embiid plays, I think is a really strong play. We've seen it over and over again without Simmons over the years, how well he does. Feels like a safer, cashy type play than it does a tournament play, but I really like him. Love Shea tonight. The problem with the other night was the blowout risk and a tough defense. Now he's got Houston, who's probably the biggest cake matchup. That's probably my favorite game to target. Not the most fun, maybe real life game for most people, but it's a really, really good DFS potential game. So I love Shea. I love running it back with Jalen Green on the other side. I think those are my 2 favorite plays in the game. Although I would say that Christian Wood is, if he's not a third, like a close third, he's maybe number 2. Probably you want to start for me in that game with Shea, Christian Wood. You could include Josh Giddey in there, Jalen Green. All those guys stand out as really, really strong plays for me, and they'll be in a bunch of my lineups tonight. Sabonis and Brogdon, I'm giving the edge to Sabonis. I know he costs more. I know Brogdon put up the monster game, another pivot off of Shea, and then another pivot off of LaMelo, who I like quite a bit as well. And I do have some LaMelo, but I prefer Brogdon, I think, tonight. If Rozier does play, if Rozier doesn't play, I will prefer LaMelo. But I really like Sabonis. I like that game in general. And I really want to get exposure to it. We're going to have to see if Bradley Beal plays. Obviously, this is the NBA. Early in the day, it's hard to have your positions done completely because if Bradley Beal doesn't play, the whole slate changes. Over on the other side, either whether he plays or not, I do like Kuzma. These are not my favorite plays, but guys who I do have exposure to. Kuzma, Randall, Claxton, all 3 of those guys stand out. Claxton more on FanDuel because we're looking for value over there. James Harden and Kevin Durant, I have rated fairly close. I would say I prefer KD on DraftKings and Harden on FanDuel. Maybe you could go the other way around because the triple-double bonus, but you do get a little discount on Harden on FanDuel where you don't with KD. And that's sort of what I let be the deciding factor because I have them both rated as really strong plays. And if you were going to stack that game, you could probably play both of them together on DraftKings. It's harder to do on FanDuel because of the lack of value. Tyrese Maxey is the other guy in that game, but I don't have a ton of him. I do have some exposure. I think he's a fairly priced at 5,300 and 5,800 or 5,600 respectively. But I think there's other guys who we can play in that range as well. So I'm not as in love with it. If Embiid does play, I expect Embiid to absolutely smash. So we'll see about that. But we need to wait on that one, obviously. I love Fred VanVleet. I know it's a tough matchup against Boston, supposedly, although Boston didn't exactly look great on opening night. And Toronto, they got smoked. They missed 21 shots out of 22 at one point, I think, between Anunoby and Fred VanVleet. I'm not going to go to Anunoby, I don't think, again tonight, but I wouldn't mind it. I do love Fred VanVleet, and I think you can play Jason Tatum at 8,800, but there's a bunch of guys in that range. Anthony Davis, just a little higher as Kevin Durant. So it's kind of hard. And then you've got Sabonis at 9K. All these guys I expect to have really, really good nights. It's just I'm giving the slight edge to Sabonis over the other ones. The other ones we're going to talk about are Scottie Barnes on DraftKings, especially. I think is completely reasonably priced. Didn't even make that many shots or do anything, and still, had a decent night the other night at 4,500. I still think is a very fair price. Brandon Ingram, I think people will overlook him tonight, and I think it's a better matchup against Chicago. Although they did play slower in the first game and played better defense than we thought we'd see from them. I think we'll get them to speed it up a little bit, especially as the season goes on. And I think that Brandon Ingram with the Pelicans, I just think that we're going to want to take advantage of this. He's going to have some monster games without Zion. He's still priced as if Zion was playing. Vooch and Levine both. I give the slight edge to Levine, but they're both really cheap on DraftKings. And I actually like Levine on FanDuel because the way you can get people in is a little bit different. And I think Levine makes a little more sense for me over there. Vooch I don't have over on FanDuel very much, but I do like both of them on DK. Not getting to a ton of them, but I do like them both. Some of my other favorite ones, I did mention Wood and Green. I like AD, Jokic, and Michael Porter Jr. AD is going to have lower ownership than I think he should be. I love Michael Porter Jr.'s price. I think he's going to put up 50 so much of the time this year. We're going to see streaky games with him where he just gets us our 4 or 5x. In other games, he's going to get us the 10x. I really think he's got like 60 plus fantasy point upside every time he's on the court. I expect a monster year from him. So those are the guys who are surrounding my lineups. I'm going to take a quick look at my lineups to make sure there's anything different on DK. I know I mentioned some FanDuel stuff, but I will talk about my specific FanDuel build. By the way, all these builds, all of my exact builds are up on the site on TrueDFS.com. So check that out. Also join our Discord. I'll attach it in the chat. But we want to make sure you guys are getting in on this because I posted one the other night that ended up finishing 4th in the big one. And it was literally the same exact lineup I made to start the day. And people could have, basically almost copied the lineup and just printed money there. It was a good for about 20x. Anyway, I don't think there's a whole bunch of other guys that I have that I didn't mention. I do have a little bits of like Aaron Gordon, DeJounte Murray, little bits of Derek White, Jalen Suggs. I think I might have mentioned. I mentioned Giddey, and that's pretty much my DraftKings player pool. I know I named a lot of names, but it's a huge slate. We're gonna have some picks, and I think I told you guys who I prefer. But again, you can always check it out on the site at TrueDFS.com. 2 free weeks right now if you sign up. It's a good time to do it. There's a lot of sports going on. Sheets has been crushing with his sheets and all the other sports. Everything, MMA, LOL, PGA. We've been doing really, really well. So let's try and get on this while you can, and just take the 2-week free trial. If you don't like it, you can get out of there. If you do like it, great. Let's make some money together. On FanDuel, you're a little bit more starving for value tonight. So I'm playing guys like Franz Wagner. I'm playing guys like Derek Favors a little bit. I'm playing Nicholas Claxton a little bit because I want to try and get some of these other guys in. I like Cole Anthony's price on FanDuel. I think at 4,900, it's very different than playing him at 63 on DraftKings. I like Derek White a little bit better on FanDuel, 5,900. I mentioned I like Harden and KD, but I think I prefer Harden on FanDuel. Love Shea still at 7,500. Don't care about the price discrepancy. Love Levine, Kuzma, Nickeil Alexander-Walker's too cheap over there. Kuzma and Nickeil Alexander-Walker make for great, shooting guard, small forward plays. I don't mind paying 8,200 for Ball over here. You go with more of a little bit of a balanced build. I think on FanDuel is my general thing. Although I do have a little bit of Harden and Durant, I still want to, overall, I want a more balanced build. Joe Val is your obvious play at center. 6,500 is way too cheap for him. He's not playing against Embiid tonight, and I think he's going to absolutely smash in this game. I like the New Orleans-Chicago game a little bit, so I wanted to get the run back with Levine, play Alexander Walker and Val. You could switch it up and play Ingram and Val. I think both those options are very, very reasonable. Again, Tobias Harris, don't mind the price on Sabonis being a little bit higher at 9,700, and I have a lot of him. So that's basically my player pool for now. Guys, I will be with you live at 6 Eastern time, and we will cover this. And let's crush it, all true DFSers. And if you're not, join now for 2 weeks free, and let's make some money together. Good luck, everybody.